right, guys, man. Apparently, lately in the news, man, Dana White has been getting a lot of flack. And guys, man, I can't blame you guys for giving Dana White a lot of flack. He's been lazy with the UFC as of late. UFC Embedded has been a lot boring. I can't watch that apparently. I used to be able to watch that, and I used to watch that faithfully. But nowadays, it just doesn't seem as fun as it used to be. It seems like the press conferences for the UFC are just boring as ever it could be. So it's like, what's going on, Dana? And Dana White is coming out with the UFC White House, and at first glance, I think it's going to be something that's going to be amazing for the fans to watch. You have the UFC White House where the top of the top go against each other, and it's at every single card from the prelims all the way up to the main event. You just can't go wrong with it. But in this spot and situation right here, man, I think Dana White is selling out, and I think we are going towards the end of the downfall of a little bit of a down spiral of the UFC at this moment, guys. And I'm kind of scared because I might have came in the community at the wrong moment. I'm a low content creator. I need things to be high, baby. But enough of me talking about my personal problems. Let's go ahead and react to this video by The Fighting Business. Go ahead and like and subscribe to his channel. And let's go ahead and react to this video on what is going on, because the UFC has sold the sport out, and the White House has the White House event proves it. Let's see what he's talking about.
On the grounds of the White House,
the UFC is planning to throw a party at the most powerful address on earth.
We laid out all the renderings and we started to
it's kind of, yep, it gives that vibe of the UFC Spear moment where it kind of was a little bit of a downfall with Sean O'Malley versus Marab. Maybe not a numbers wise, but
he loved it.
So you would think this would be their proudest moment as a legitimate sport, right?
No, I don't give a shit about fighting at the White House.
Wrong.
I want to fight in front of big crowds, bro. It's like, how big can the White House even like have of a stadium?
Because while Dana White's busy planning his White House show,
that's fact,
something's happening behind the scene that makes you wonder, is this still about fighting?
See a couple of like the good American kids that you know that are kind of newer to the sport but show great promise, go in there and have a couple of the prelim fights. You know, I always enjoy watching those guys.
Or has the sport just become another piece on someone else's chessboard? And the reason why, it's messier than you think.
We're literally,
yeah, literally, it's messier than what you think, for real. Because let's think about it, guys. Let's go ahead and put the volume up just a little bit, because I think it might be a little bit low. Like, the UFC is owned by TKO, or they're partnered with TKO, wherever the case may be. And let's go ahead and look at WWE. Now, granted, by any means necessary, I would not compare the WWE to the UFC. But let's go ahead and look at TKO just owning the UFC and owning WWE. Now, granted, Triple H is at the helm right now instead of Vince McMahon for the WWE side of town. And we can see clear as day that the WWE is taking a huge spiral down in terms of number, even though they partnered with Netflix. They are about $2 billion down in debt. And it's clear as day that they're doing everything in their power to go ahead and advertise the WWE and not care about the fans and more look at the money aspect of things. And you can see the change in that. Now, going into the UFC, TKO is a part of that. Dana White is only a little piece of the puzzle that we see in this point of view. Now, TKO being the helm of it, we can see clear as day. Dudes like Arman Sarukian is not getting at the title shot. He's not going to go ahead and bring money in terms of TKO's point of view, no matter where you are in the rankings. And it shows clear as day that it's going to be that. Now, moving forward with the future with the UFC, I'm scared because dudes like Tom Aspinall, dudes like John Jones, my GOAT, we're taking different approaches as a way we're taking fights. So guys, that's one thing to go ahead and be on point with. So just check out with that.
Take over Washington, D.C. that week.
You see, this card isn't shaping up like a celebration of the sport. It's starting to look more like a red carpet performance where the script gets written long before the fighters even walk out. Big names get the spotlight, merit takes a back seat, and the whole thing starts to blur the line between legitimate fight card and a glorified show for VIPs who don't even watch MMA.
I don't give a f to fight in front of a bunch of fucking billionaires and rich people that can give a shit less about me. And you guys, I want to fight in front of people that are Raw Dog fans or fans of MMA.
But that's only half the story. So, what exactly is going on with the UFC White House card?
Yeah, what's going on for real? I know the best of the best are fighting each other, and I don't think it's anything less than that. So that's one thing we can start off with.
Thank you to the fighting business. Absolutely amazing. One of my favorite new channels going right now.
Look, we all know the UFC isn't exactly known for playing fair when it comes to matchmaking, but hosting fights at the White House, now, that takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, they're going to have 8 or 9 championship fights, the biggest fights they've ever had. Everyone's a championship fight.
And here's the thing, this isn't just another Saturday night at the Apex. This is a political showcase. So when you're putting on fights in the most famous building in America, you're not picking fighters based on who deserves it.
Most ever in your career?
Man, one of my favorite fighters of all time, Jorge Masvidal. That's not fair. Thought I'd just point that out.
Think about
quick.
it. When has the UFC ever thrown an event at a place like this and said, you know what, let's give the spotlight to people like Merab Dvalishvili?
Fact.
Some of these guys are so stupid, it's...
Never. And that's because as incredible as Merab is, he doesn't have the mainstream star power that makes politicians smile for photo ops.
Does Merab want a shot at the title, or would Merab rather have people under him jump over him? That's a personal decision that he needs to make. If that's what he wants to do, I can tell you how that story ends. It's not a good ending to that story.
And that's where things get me a little bit political in my point of view, because going after Merab at this time, it was a little bit, it showed Dana's white true colors, if I had to go ahead and say. It showed his true colors, because why are we going at Merab? Now, granted, Merab has done some stupid things. I'm not going to defend the stupid things that Merab has done. Granted, he's shown that he's had the staph infection for no reason. Why not just hide that? He's shown that he's been injured during his fight camps. He's shown stupid things to where, like, damn, Merab, what are you doing? But for Dana White, the head of the company, the head of the chief, the head of everything, the face of the company, to go ahead and really drop down his championship fighter like that, it showed, yeah, Dana White, what are we doing? And that should have been the moment where I should have realized things could get a little bit bad.
He's a big boy. He can figure that out
I love
on his
Dana
own.
White. I still do.
Now, this is the
Nothing
same
would change.
organization that gave Conor McGregor title shots and championships
same
in
guy that
multiple
built
divisions
Conor,
based
John
largely on his
Jones. He built
marketability
these dudes.
and star power,
So I can't be
right?
mad at
And
Dana.
it's the same company
like,
that brought
damn,
John
Dana.
Jones back after 3 years and fast-tracked him into a heavyweight title shot.
And I don't know what this game is with everybody, but John Jones is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Until this fucking guy, and he has been acting...
Plus, they literally created an entire fake belt, the BMF title, just to sell a Masvidal versus Diaz fight.
But honestly, this belt for the bums, you know. First time who fight for this belt?
Diaz and Masvidal.
Diaz and Masvidal. The people who never can be champion, you know. They give him some belt.
I never heard Islam said this.
Guys, be happy. Fight for BMF. But this is...
Should I even talk about Colby Covington getting a third title shot after being 2-2 in 4 years? I mean, you get my point, right?
History repeats itself. It's just going to be another 1776, and that means British don't come to America. You come to America, you're going home empty-handed, Junior.
So when you look at the White House card, you're not looking at sport.
Dana White has built up Colby Covington, so how can you be mad at Dana? He's built up superstars. He reminds me of Vince McMahon. But it's like we're taking a downward slope every time. It's like month by month.
You're looking at
Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison has been declined. Kayla Harrison's neck has been injured. So she's done. She can't accept the fight. So it seems like Sean O'Malley versus Yang Sodong. It's the new co-main event. So it's like, damn. What can we have as a fans to really go ahead and enjoy? We can't get Tom Aspinall versus John Jones, Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, Hamzat Chimaev versus a dude like Israel Adesanya or something like that. We're not getting these type of fights anymore.
Entertainment.
Conor
You're looking at
versus
the UFC
Michael
saying,
Chandler? Let's
forget
get
the
that.
rankings and the winning streaks. We're picking who we want because this is bigger than fighting.
And they're going to have 8 or 9 championship fights, the biggest fights they've ever had. Everyone's a championship fight. and everyone's a legendary type of fight. He's actually holding back fights right now for 6 months so he can do it for this, the 250.
And that's a problem, right? Because when you do that, you're telling every fighter grinding their way up the ranks that none of it matters. You're telling more deserving fighters that all those wins and performances don't mean anything when the UFC decides they need a big name for a big stage. Now, this is not new or anything. The UFC has been ignoring #1 contenders for years.
What's next for Bilal?
Arman Tsarukyan being one of those guys.
Where's Hunter?
They've pushed aside winning streaks and completely disregarded their own ranking panels whenever it's convenient. But the White House event, that's the loudest, most...
Another guy, Ankalaev, man. Where does Ankalaev go from here, man? He's not getting that rematch versus Alex Pereira. We know the UFC is not booking that third fight anytime soon. So it's little dudes like that that kind of brings that explanation up to the par.
Open example of it yet.
The media will no longer control the rankings in the UFC. It's just I can't handle the incompetence. I can't take it anymore. It's driving me crazy.
Here's where it gets uncomfortable though. This whole thing makes MMA look less like a legitimate sport and more like WWE. Think about the parallels here. Handpicked stars for the show? Checked. Storyline-based matchmaking. Connor's return. Jones comeback? Check. A venue chosen...
I don't know about the Jones comeback part, but everything else, yes.
For the show instead of sporting integrity? Absolutely.
The White House, Dana White said, you and John Jones, that's a real deal. I'm going home, I'm going to get the hit down, I'm going to rest back in the pool. So get ready and stay ready, because damage will be done. Oval Office, White House.
Now, the UFC has always walked the line between sport and entertainment. But a White House fight card? That's not walking the line. That's crossing it completely. And the worst part, there's nothing fighters can do about it. The UFC has near total control, so fighters can speak out all they want, but the show goes on. Actually, some of them have.
Have you thought about T-Bird Baller? Do you want to fight at the White House? I'm sure every fighter wants that, or maybe not. Maybe there's some...
No, I don't give a shit about fighting at the fucking White House. I want to fight...
Why say that? Why say that publicly? That's stupid from Brandon Royval to say. Because guess what? You just lost a Manel Cap. And for you to go ahead and drop down the White House like that's something they're promoting, you're never going to see the belt.
In front of big crowds, bro. It's like, how big can the White House even like have of a stadium?
Brandon Royval just said what a lot of people are thinking but won't say. Like, this event isn't for real fans or the people who actually watch every card.
This is my top 5 UFC fighters right now. Sean O'Malley, Israel Adesanya, give me Leon Edwards.
It's for billionaires, politicians, and VIPs who probably couldn't name 5 fighters outside of Connor and Jones.
I don't give a fuck about impressing any politicians. I don't care about the presidents. None of them. I really don't fucking want to go fight in the White House, if I'm being honest.
And for fighters like Royval, guys who come from nothing, performing in a room full of elite feels fake. It feels wrong, like some Hunger Game type shit.
Yeah, bro. I don't give a fuck about any of our political figures right now, and it's like to fight in front of them just seems like some fucking Hunger Games type fucking shit.
Now, the UFC markets itself as the people's sport, right?
It's facts, but it's more the fact that to where if you're Brandon Royval, it's gonna diminish you. You look at these dudes behind the scenes; they see everything. It's not like they don't see this; they see this from Brandon Royval. So it's like they're not gonna give them that push if you're diminishing something that they're really trying to push. Call me crazy, but that's how I'm looking at it. Brandon Royval, you should have beat Manel Cap for that to really stand merit. But the fact that you lost, it hurts because it's like you're never going to get back to that spot just because of this moment here. Call me crazy, but they watch everything, guys.
As the realest, rawest combat competition on earth. But a White House
LOL fight. Those are not real fans, man.
I mean, that's why Michael Chandler's so popular, because he fights like a wild dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
I never would recommend to someone, watch this guy and learn something. At the same time, you don't have to be Bilal.
It takes dedication and focus to be an all-pro dad. The good news is you don't...
And you know what the craziest part about all of this is? Most fans won't even be there to see it.
I mean, security must be crazy.
The security is going to be crazy. There'll be under 4,000 people there. And I don't even know how people are going to get selected yet. We have to work that out.
You see, the UFC White House guard is capped at under 5,000 people on the South Lawn due to security concerns. That's a massive drop from the original expectation of 20,000 or more people. 5,000 for what Dana White is calling one of the biggest cards in UFC history.
Be on the South Lawn. We'll have under 5,000 fans on the South Lawn, and then the park that is connected.
And keep in mind, these 5,000 fans aren't screaming fans. That's off beer. That's going to go ahead and make things hype. These are fans that are off the most richest wine possible, and they're going to keep their composure, even being drunk off that type of wine.
To the White House, we'll have 85,000 people with screens.
And here's what gets me. Those tickets won't be for sale. They're all complimentary, all of them. In fact, reports show that guest includes diplomats, politicians, and VIPs attending a special dinner before the fight. The kind of people who've probably never sat through fight night prelims in their lives. So let's be real about what's happening here. You've got hardcore fans who buy every pay-per-view, and they're not getting anywhere near this event. Instead, those 5,000 seats are going to people who need background checks just to get in.
I don't even know how many people can get in, not to mention the fact that Secret Service isn't going to let a lot of people come do this. Everybody's going to have background checks. So yeah, whoever actually gets to be there live, it will be such a unique, amazing experience in their lifetime to be able to go to this fight.
White himself admitted everyone attending will need a background clearance because of Secret Service requirements. That's not a ticketing system. That's a guest list.
I mean, the security is going to be a massive issue because at the end of the day, Secret Service's job is to protect the president. It'll be under 5,000 though, but I can't remember what they call it. There's a park that's connected to the White House. We could put 85,000 people over there.
Now, Dana says he's setting up screens in a nearby park for 85,000 people. Great. So real fans get to watch on a screen in a park while billionaires and politicians sit cage-side at the White House. You see how that looks, right?
Crazy work.
It's like throwing the most exclusive party and telling your day ones they can watch through the window. And sure, watching on a screen is better than nothing, but it misses the entire point of what combat sports are supposed to be about.
Oh, like, I don't give a fuck to fight in front of a bunch of fucking billionaires and rich people that fucking can give a shit less about me. And fuck you guys, I want to fight in front of people that are Raw Dog fans, are fans of MMA, and like, you know, that are like fucking, that can relate to me.
Here's what makes this even more absurd. The UFC is dropping $700,000 just to replace the grass on the South Lawn after the event because the 15,000-pound octagon and all the production equipment are going to destroy it. Think about that for a second. $700,000 to fix a lawn, and that's just one expense. Dana White himself said this is going to be the most challenging and expensive event they've ever done. And the logistics alone are a nightmare. Secret Service protocols, background checks for everyone, custom infrastructures, and interagency coordination that makes a normal fight look like a walk in the park.
One thing that I will say that will make everything worth my while watching this UFC white card if we get John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, and I'll see John Jones 12-6 the hell out of Tom Aspinall.
Like you said, the security, the behind the scenes, how much stuff's really going to happen? I'm just like,
A lot of weird pressure, too.
Probably.
Because it's like all the security and the protocols, all that extra shit in your mind before you have to go out there and fight.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot more than what it needs to be.
So you've got an event that costs millions to produce, requires tearing up and replacing part of the White House lawn, and needs more security clearance than a Pentagon briefing. But real fans can't even buy a ticket. The whole thing feels backward. The UFC built this sport on the back of loyal fans who showed up when nobody else cared. And now, those same fans get pushed to a park with a screen while the people who never cared get front row seats.
That's how life works, man. Nothing new.
So, here's where we're at. The UFC is planning this massive event at the White House, and on paper, it sounds incredible, right? Fights at the most powerful address on earth. That's history. But when you peel back the layers, when you realize it's not about making history, it's about making a statement. And that statement has very little to do with fighting. Because it's about star power over success. It's about politics over sports. It's about the show mattering more than the people putting their bodies on the line. And the fighters see it, even if they all can't say it as bluntly as Royval did. They see it. Because at the end of the day, fighters don't get into this sport to perform for billionaires. They get into it to prove something, to test themselves. And when the UFC turns that into a red carpet event where the script's already written, when they prioritize names over rankings and show over legitimacy, that's when the sport stops being a sport. That's when it becomes something else entirely. And maybe that's fine for some people, you know? But for guys like Brendan Royval, for fighters who came from nothing and fought their way to everything, they didn't sign up for this. They signed up to fight. And if that fight happens to be in front of people who actually care,
well, we know
people
one
who
thing
respect
for sure.
what
Brandon
they do,
Royval is not
then
at the UFC
that's
white
where
card.
they want to be. Because that's what this sport was supposed to be about. And somewhere along the way, we forgot.
Like, I don't give a fuck to fight in front of a bunch of fucking billionaires and rich people that fucking can give a shit less about me and probably throwing parlays. It's like, fuck you guys. I'm gonna
Wow, man. Shout out to the fighting business, man. WVid, man. WVid. Go ahead and like and subscribe to his channel, guys. But all in all, man, that's facts, though, man. Because Dana White, man, he's been changing a lot. I'm not gonna go ahead and get into the side of saying where I'm against Dana White, because I'm still with him. I still believe in what Dana White can do, because he's built superstars time in and time out. But we're diminishing a little bit in terms of quality with the UFC, and we need to fix that, guys. All in all, I'm not gonna hold you guys for too long. Like the video, subscribe. Road to 600 subscribers. You guys know the drill. I ain't gotta tell you too, baby. Like the video, subscribe. It's your boy Fetty MMA. Well, Fetty Combat. I just changed my MMA channel name. I'm out.